So, hello there, and welcome back to another Night of the Movies video. I'm, of course, Spike Knight, and in these videos, I love talking about things, movies and TV, and whatever I want, whenever I want. And in today's video, I'm reviewing the Super Mario Galaxy movie. So, let's get into it, shall we? The Super Mario Galaxy movie is, of course, the sequel to the Super Mario Brothers movie, which released in 2023. So, it's been 3 years in the making, this sequel. And I remember going to watch the Super Mario Brothers movie at the cinema and being so excited about seeing it, because I am a fan of the Mario games. I spent many hours playing Mario Kart in the past. I wouldn't say I'm as big of a fan as some people are. Like, some people are die-hard Mario fans, and I'm not, but I would still consider myself a fan of Mario. I mean, just look at the thumbnail to this video today. Yes, I love Mario Kart in particular. During my adolescence, I spent many hours playing Mario Kart Wii, and over the past couple of months, I spent many hours playing Mario Kart World on the Nintendo Switch 2, my brother's Nintendo Switch 2, which he thankfully lets me use. So yes, I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart recently as well, and I've played a lot of Mario Kart Wii in the past. And I have played other Mario games here and there, but not nearly as much as Mario Kart Wii. Or Mario Kart in general, should I say. I have played Super Mario Galaxy in the past, but not loads. I played it here and there, but if you ask me any questions about the Super Mario Galaxy games, I would not be able to answer them. And I have played the Smash Bros games as well on the Wii. Yeah, Super Smash Bros on the Wii, but that it isn't just a Mario game. It obviously includes many other Nintendo characters, and Sonic as well, who was not a Nintendo character. But it also does include Mario, Peach, and other characters from the Mario games. And I remember really enjoying Super Smash Bros, but I haven't played it that much. I think I played it the story through once, but that was about it. I played it quite a bit, but yeah, not for a long time. So like I said, I would consider myself a fan of the Mario games, but more a fan of the Mario Kart games. I haven't really played other Mario games, so I wasn't terribly excited for this movie for that reason, because I don't know much about the Super Mario Galaxy games. So when I heard that this film would be taking a lot of ideas from those games, I was like, okay, that's interesting, but am I going to get all those references, you know what I mean? Still, I was looking forward to it because I am somebody who really enjoyed the Super Mario Brothers movie 3 years ago. I came out that cinema with a huge grin on my face. And I remember, coming out of the cinema after watching that first Mario movie, and I immediately wanted to go home and play Mario Kart Wii. You know, and I came out of that movie and just thought, yeah, I had a whale of a time watching that in the cinema, and that was a proper crowd pleaser for Mario fans, for fans of the video game, at least in my opinion. So that's why I was looking forward to this film, because it's a follow-up, it's a sequel to that first Mario movie. Still, I wasn't nearly as excited for this film, for the Super Mario Galaxy movie, as I was for the Super Mario Brothers movie, because this movie, you know, it's a sequel to the first film. I saw what the first one was like, and on reflection, it wasn't anything special, it wasn't a masterpiece, and so going into this movie, I was kind of setting my expectations with what I was going to get, plus it's the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and I don't know much about the Super Mario Galaxy game, so I was worried that I wasn't going to understand all the references, and to be honest, the trailers didn't totally sell me either. But like I said, I'm a fan of Mario Kart, I'm a fan of the character Mario in general. Again, just look at the thumbnail to the video today. So I went into the cinema earlier today with an open mind. I went into the cinema hoping to enjoy this film, and honestly, you know what? I did. I don't care what any of these critics are saying. I've heard some critics, right, call this film worse than AI. When a movie studio comes out with a blockbuster that is made by AI, you can make those comments, but right now, I just think those comments are absolutely stupid. No, this film is not worse than AI. There is plenty to enjoy in there. There's plenty to look at the screen and smile at, you know what I mean? Like, the animation in this film is stunning, just like it was in the first film. There's clearly been a lot of time, thought and attention had been put into the animation. You can tell that whilst you're watching the film. And a lot of it is, well, most of the film just keeps moving. It doesn't stop. It keeps going. It keeps going. There's no real moment when the film takes a breath, and I do think that's a bit of a problem, but it also means that you never really get bored because there's so much going on in the film. You know, you're constantly looking out for the Easter eggs there. And even though I'm somebody who's not ever played the Mario Galaxy games, really, again, I've played bits of them here and there, but I wouldn't say properly played them, you know. I was watching this film and I understood a lot of the references still, and there were characters that showed up. I was like, oh, I didn't know that character was in this movie. That's a reference to the Smash Bros games, and I quite like that, and I do think this film is sowing the seed for a potential Smash Brothers movie coming in the near distant future. So there's a lot to like, particularly some of the new characters. Yoshi, as soon as he came on screen, I had a huge grin on my face. Yoshi is one of my favourite Mario characters, and I love the way he's used in the first half of this film. He's not really in the second half that much, but I love the way he's used in the first half, and seeing Bowser back, once again voiced by Jack Black. I mean, he's a thing that you need to keep in these movies to truly make them enjoyable. I do think he carries significant part of the film. So yeah, there's a lot to like still. I'm not saying that I think it's a bad film, but it's nowhere near as good as it could be. The annoying thing with this movie, at least in my opinion, when I look back on it after seeing it a couple of hours ago, is that the ingredients are there. The ingredients are there for actually what could be maybe a potentially special film, you know, something that is actually quite memorable. But a lot of the time, it feels like it's ticking the boxes for what it thinks Mario fans want from this movie, with what it thinks fans of the Super Mario Galaxy games want from this film. There was a lot of references to the point that I was thinking, you don't necessarily need this. You could have taken this out and it would have been the exact same film, and actually it may have been better because you would have got to the point more. There is so much going on in this film, and I mean so much. It's a chaotic mishmash of about 1,000 different ideas, and none of them really stick. None of them really land or stick with you because there's that much going on. It's balancing that many characters. Like, almost all the characters from the first one are back, plus you get new characters, and it just feels like it's trying to do too much. And I couldn't help but think, whilst I was watching the film, you know what, it probably doesn't need to do nearly as much as it's doing. It could probably take back this, take back that, take that character out of there that doesn't really need to be there, but it's there for the sake of setting up the Super Smash Bros. Movie that's inevitably going to happen. Take those characters out, and take this element out, take this storyline out. Actually, what you have there is, I think, a better film. I mean, I'm not going into details there because I don't want to give away spoilers, but there were parts of the film I was like, you don't need this. But the other parts of the film, I was thinking, this is really good. Focus on this more. Like, this is an underlining theme of family throughout the film, and it feels, you know, cliche to say that an animated movie is all about family, but this film is about family. And when it's about family, when it focuses on those themes surrounding family and reuniting lost family, you know, estranged family and things like that, when it focuses on those themes, that's when the film really works. And actually, I got a little choked up in one part, and I didn't expect to, but the rest of the film, that was about halfway through the movie when I got a little choked up, and then I was hoping to get more choked up towards the end of the movie, but then the end of the movie almost felt like a different film, you know, because it was trying to do so much. And there's so many action sequences in this film. Every single time it felt like a new character was introduced, we had to have an action sequence, you know? We had to have a big fight sequence, which, again, wasn't done badly. Clearly a lot of time and attention had been put into the animation of the film. But I was so many parts where I was just thinking, you don't need this action sequence. Why is this happening? It doesn't feel earned. And it actually feel better if you didn't have an action sequence here, and you had a moment where these characters could actually, well, get some proper character development, because there's like hints of character development in this film, but there isn't enough of it in there. And you may be watching or listening to the review going, yeah, but you know, at the end of the day, it's a film about Mario. You just want it to be enjoyable. And again, I did find it enjoyable, but if it had those elements that I wanted and didn't get, if it focused on family more, if it was a better written film, then guess what? It would have been even more enjoyable. And people would be absolutely loving this film. And I do think it will find an audience, easily. But I don't think people are going to like it the same way they like the first film. I don't like it the same way I like the first film. I came out the first one with this feeling like, oh my god, I want to go back and immediately play Mario Kart. I didn't have that feeling come out of this film. I didn't have the feeling like, oh my god, I want to go and play the Mario Galaxy games. And I wanted to, but I do feel that there are a lot of missed opportunities in there. Plus, a lot of the comedy falls flat like a pancake, you know what I mean? That you're watching this film and it feels like they're trying to fall back on comedy a little too much, and some of the comedy works. I will admit I laughed while I was watching this film, kind of more than I expected to actually, but I do think that there is a lot of comedy which just doesn't work. There are a lot of parts of the film as well where characters are reuniting one another and thinking, wait, how did that character get there about a minute ago? They were coming somewhere else. And yeah, it's just got too much going on. I enjoyed it whilst I was watching it in the cinema. I was smiling in plenty of moments throughout the film, and I do think the first half of the film is better than the second half. But in the end, it becomes more of a box-ticking film for what I think the filmmakers think Mario fans wanted from this film, rather than a film that actually focuses on family the way it could have done, and actually leans into those things which really make their film work. Because again, I do think there are parts of the film which do work, but they're not focused in on enough. And I do also think that maybe I enjoyed it because I enjoy watching these characters. I enjoy watching them realised on the big screen for the cinematic experience. But also, part of me was thinking, if I wasn't a Mario fan, would I be liking this film at all? And I don't really want to get in those feelings, you know? And I hate to say it, you know, I really hate to say this, but I also think this is kind of one of those films that you enjoy watching at the cinema, but you'll probably forget about a couple of days after you saw it. You know, I can't see myself thinking about this film in days to come. And again, you might be saying, but Spike, you don't necessarily need this from a Mario movie. But imagine if we got that from a Mario movie, you know? Imagine if we got a properly memorable and heartwarming and heartbreaking Mario movie that engages you emotionally and is exciting and thrilling to watch. Imagine if you got a Mario movie that was truly special. And I don't think that's this film. And it could have been. The ingredients, in my opinion, are there, but they are lost in this chaotic mishmash of about 1,000 different ideas that the film is trying to get across, and it doesn't settle on any of them. So I was entertained by it. I won't lie, I was entertained by this film whilst I was on the cinema. But I don't think I'll be thinking about it much in the forthcoming weeks. And I kind of wish that wasn't the case. I wish I came out of this film thinking, oh wow, that really impressed me. And I want to go and play the Mario Galaxy games now. But I didn't. You know, again, it's not bad, but it could have been so much better. And so, all in all, I'm going to say that the Super Mario Galaxy movie, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I'm giving it that rating because I enjoyed it, but oh my god, I wish I loved it, you know? I remember coming out the first Super Mario Brothers movie, and again, I'm not saying that film is a masterpiece by any means. I'm not saying it's one of my favourite animated movies that I've seen over the past couple of years even. But I came out of that film, I was like, where's the Mario Kart Wii remote? You know what I mean? Where's the Mario Kart wheel? That's what I meant to say. Like, where's the Mario Kart wheel? I want to immediately go back and play Mario Kart Wii. You know what? That's what I did. But I didn't get that feeling coming out of this film, and I really wish I did. I also think, one last thing here, Rosalina, who is the new character in this film, is wasted. She shows up at the start of the film, and I was like, okay, great. Let's do something interesting with that character. And then they don't. You know, I do think Rosalina is a wasted character, and I hoped I'd like Rosalina a lot more. I don't dislike Rosalina at all, but she's never been one of those Mario characters who I've, liked that much. I wanted to like her a lot more than I actually do, and I was hoping I'd get that coming out of this film. I was hoping this one would make me like Rosalina more, but it didn't really. I don't dislike Rosalina anymore after seeing this film. I just wanted to like her. And I also... One last thing, this is the last thing. When are Wario and Waluigi going to be introduced? A little bit of a spoiler there, because I'm essentially saying they're not in this film, but when are we going to get to Wario and Waluigi? Give me them, because I'm bloody waiting. They're two of my favourite Mario characters. You can do so much with those two characters, and yet we haven't got them yet. Here's hoping they're in the inevitable third film that's going to come out, in 2029. That'll probably when that'll probably when the next Mario movie comes out. Here's hoping the villains of that film and Wario and Waluigi, because I'm waiting for them. I was hoping they were going to be hidden in this movie as this big surprise, but going spoiled a bit there, they weren't. Anyway. Still, it probably wouldn't have made this film any better. It probably would have added to the chaos of this movie, and you know, that would have made it even worse. Still, like I said, I enjoyed this film whilst I was on in the cinema. The animation is stunning. The kites are just as likeable as the first time around. There are new standouts in this film, which are enjoyable to watch, particularly Yoshi, who you just love as soon as they appear on screen. And again, there is plenty to like when it comes to the film. Plenty of references where you go, oh, that's from that, and that's from that, and yeah, this is a fun film. But I just couldn't help I just couldn't skip the feeling that I thought this could have been better. It could have been better. I had the ingredients to be better, but it wasn't, and it just it ended up feeling like it was ticking more boxes in the end rather than actually telling an emotional story like it could have. You know, there were emotional parts of the film, but they're just not focused on it enough. And again, it's enjoyable, but I probably won't remember much about it in a week's time, which is kind of heart-wrenching to say. And so, all in all, as what I said, and as I'm going to say once more in this review today, the Super Mario Galaxy movie is a 6 out of 10 from me. Anyway guys, that's it for today's video. If you have seen the Super Mario Galaxy movie, please know your thoughts on it in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching this video today. And if you haven't yet, please do click down below and like and subscribe on this video. And look forward to many more videos like this coming very, very soon on this channel. As what I said, thank you for watching this video today. And I will see you guys again soon. But bye for now. Bye.